All right, so now want to talk to you about increasing your reach outs and your sponsoring rate. Okay, because this is key to making a team go. Want to make you and your team go faster? Well, here's how you make your team go faster. People ask this all the time. How do you make your team go faster? The answer is you go faster because they're going to do what you do. And so if you increase your reach outs, you will then just by doing that, you will then increase your sponsoring rate. Everybody has a sponsoring rate. Whether it's 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, whatever your sponsoring rate is, right? You have a batting average. So if you increase the number of times that you go to bat, then you'll increase the number of times that you get a hit. Even if you keep your sponsoring rate, your percentages are the same, but because the numbers that you put in are higher, you end up sponsoring more people. And so that's what this is all about, getting eyeballs onto this platform. So we have a lot of reasons why it's the perfect time to reach out to people. We've already talked in previous trainings that we just did all about how to reach out to people during the holidays. Watch that training. We talked about scripts for sponsoring new EAs. We did that last week. Watch that training as well. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about looking and targeting specific groups for reasons that you'll understand as I go through. Okay, so first of all, what you don't want to be, and I just remind this all the time to everyone, is don't be this person. Don't be the one that's known. I'm trying to get people. You're just calling me because you're trying to get me. You're just reaching out to me because you're trying to get me. You're just trying to connect with me, as a stranger because you're trying to get me. No, don't do that. You want to build relationships with people, right? Even if you take it from the standpoint of this. I just connected with someone on LinkedIn, a stranger on LinkedIn this morning, right? So this is one of the people that I connected with. I connected with several people. I make it a point to do that every day. Same thing on Facebook, or whatever. But the point is, I connected with this person on LinkedIn. And so I sent them a connection request. And in the connection request, I put a message in there. And it was, "Hey, Sarah, I was going through my normal business, what I do for my normal day-to-day business, right? And I was going through LinkedIn and it popped up as a recommendation. I took a look at your profile and I saw some interesting things on there. As it turns out, Sarah, it looks like you have worked in the industries where I am actually working on a business project, and you're in the states that this project is expanding all over the country. So, hey, I would love to network with you a little bit, and find out more about what you do so that I can help you. I might know some people that you need to know for your business, for your career, for your core profession. And I'd love to network with you and share a little bit about what I do so that, maybe you can point me in the right direction if you happen to know someone who's looking for me. And so I sent that message. Lo and behold, right? About a minute and a half later, just enough time to read my message. It was just it wasn't even, it was like a couple sentences. It wasn't long. It was pretty simple. She read it and she connected back and she said, "I'd love to connect with you. What do you got?" I was like, awesome. You guys, that's what it is. I was giving something to her first, right? I paid her a compliment. I told her that I read her profile. I said, "You have an interesting background," right? I put that in there. And then I told her why her profile caught my eye in going about my daily work. All right. So what you don't want to be is the person like going and connecting on LinkedIn and being like a total amateur, right? Or somebody that just doesn't have any real, isn't really focused on building relationships. They're just all about me, 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 me. And just be like, "Hey, I'd like to connect with you. I have something I'm working on. I'd like to talk to you." I mean, that's fine. But it's nowhere near as good as what I just described, right? So you can be an amateur. Sometimes there's people who just connect with somebody on LinkedIn or Facebook and they just connect with them. And as soon as they, send a friend, they say, "Yes, you've been accepted as a friend. Yes, you're connected now on LinkedIn." And they immediately just send them a video. I'm like, what good does that do? You didn't find anything out about the person. You're not building a relationship. You're not building a potential business partner. You're just fishing. And we're not on fishing expeditions here. We have a process that we go through to be able to reach out to people with real information. And, we care about people. We find out about them. I like to say I'm interviewing people. I like to interview people. And you should be able to interview people too. If you want to build a really strong and profitable business, you should learn about interviewing people. Because when you think about it, anytime if you've gone in for a job interview, I mean, if the person that's doing the job interview, that's looking to attract you to their company and find out if you're the right fit and then attract you, like they're looking to find out if you're the right fit first. And then if you are the right fit, to check and see if you have a pulse, so that, we can find out if you're a good fit. Like, so are you a good fit? And are you looking? Are you the right candidate? So I like to think of it as interviewing people. And when you go into an interview, what do? Do they just sit there and not say anything and just say, do you want the job? Here's the job. Do you want it? No, no, they don't do that. You go into the interview and they start asking you questions. They start asking you interview questions. They have a process. They have a pattern for doing it. They want to find out about you first. Then they tell you about the job. And so they say, so they pick up your resume and they start looking at it and they say, so tell me about this and where have you lived and what's your background and what did you like best about your job there? How well did you do? Tell me some interesting stories that happened to you in your life there. Why did you pick that career? Did you like your boss? Did you like the people that you work with? Did you like what you were doing? You're interviewing people. And whenever they answer, you start asking them questions about what they just answered. And so you just stay genuinely interested in finding out about the other person. And when you find out about someone else, they're more likely to be interested in you. Okay, because that's how it works. See, this person right here in this picture, this person is just interested in themselves with the spear. They're going to go harpoon this person and try to net them a new advisor on their team. That's what they're looking to do. And the person's like running, got their hands up, like I'm going the other way. Instead of, asking questions, put the harpoon away. Okay. People will see you coming from a mile away if you have this harpoon, metaphorically speaking, you have this harpoon in your hand. And if people feel like you're trying to get them, then they're instantly going to be repelled away from you, like two magnets with the same polarity pushing against each other. You're not going to get close enough to sponsor that person or find out about them. How could you? So you guys, I know I went off on a tangent there, but don't be this person. And let's talk about adding prospects in these specific professions to your list. These professions that I'm going to talk to you about right now have taken on an entirely new meaning in our business. And you'll see why in just a second. Okay? We are recruiting and talking to more people in these professions than we ever have. And you know what? I don't think that I've ever in my 30-year career in network marketing, I don't think that I've ever seen a company that can attract this huge group of people that I'm going to put up on this screen here. I've never seen a company and an organization that is more perfectly suited to bring these professions into their fold and into their business where it makes sense, where it actually makes so much sense for these professions to join our team that it would be actually foolish for them not to. Okay, and I say that with all them as sincere as I can be and as nice as I can be. If you know someone or if you're in this profession and you don't participate with what we're doing, I'm telling you right now, you are missing the boat. You're missing a big piece of something that you can do long term for your business, for your livelihood, for your community, for your work career, just for your overall mental mindset and the ability to provide, for your family. And so here's the first group, right? The first group of them is electricians, rooftop solar sales and installers, or people who own rooftop solar companies, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning companies, and plumbers. All right, so that's the first line of clients that you see here. Okay, so everybody should be adding these groups to your list. Okay, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to take a picture of this screen and have this thing on your phone all the time. Okay, maybe just take out the thing that says add prospects in these professions to your list. I'll probably make a slide that's more user friendly for this. Haven't done it yet, but I have to now based on what we're seeing with our teams. Contractors, kitchen and bath companies, flooring companies, paving, like driveway paving companies, right? Paving companies. How about mortgage lenders? Tree companies, fencing companies. I love the pet fencing companies. You know how there's like these, I used to work in that industry. And so people who are looking to contain their pets with fencing, whether it's invisible fencing or virtual fencing or radio fencing or physical fencing, man, there's a reason why pet fencing is even a higher number, okay, a higher hit number than just regular fencing for a lot of reasons we'll talk about. Masons, so anybody who does concrete work, pours foundations, whatever, home builders, that's why we have contractors in there, landscapers, people who have home cleaning companies, roofing companies, roofers, windows, siding, and gutters people. Okay, businesses that do windows, siding, and gutters, property inspectors and insurance agents, realtors, appliance repair. I'm going to make these groups a little more cohesive as we go because I know they're all over the map, but it's great to be all over the map because it really makes you think. Accountants, financial planners, and you know what? Anyone who has homeowners as their client base, that should say client base, not clients base. Let me fix that right now. I always have to do that as I'm going. So let's see, do I have it? Yeah, I thought I had it. For some reason, I can't fix it right now, but we'll get there. There we go. As their client base. All right, so you definitely now you're starting to probably figure out, why we're actually focused on these groups. All right, so the reason why, as you can tell, is the bottom line. Anyone who has homeowners as their client base. Why is that important? Well, because we are marching about this country, if you haven't noticed, bringing technologies that are very attractive, and they're attractive to businesses as well, but they're very attractive to people who have residential home electricity accounts, businesses as well. But 90% of the electricity accounts out there in the world are residential accounts. And that's a much larger pool of electricity bills than, businesses. There's far more residential electricity accounts than business accounts. So that's where we go. We do both. But 9 out of 10 bills in this country, electric bills in this country, are residential. So that means if you want to capture everything, you have to have a lot of residential access. So when you look at our services that we offer, and you look at our autosave offerings, okay, great for people at residential homes, perfect, because it focuses on 100,000 kilowatt hours and less. It's great for small businesses too, but it's super great for residential. And then you look at our technology, our Think Smart technology, with thermostats in Texas, and now getting ready in the next 5 days, 7 days, whatever, in the next week, we're going to expand into residential in other states. And smart thermostats can be used at commercial locations as well, small commercial locations. But mainly, it's a residential, service, a residential program, so that we can bring a technology into people's homes that can give them a huge benefit long term over anything else that's out there. And in Texas, we get a $10 a month. The customer gets $10 a month credited onto their bill just for connecting their smart thermostat. They just do it once and they forget about it forever. They don't have to do it again. And it's just $10 a month, $10 a month, $10 a month. Well, in the states that are coming up in our autosave markets, the 6 markets, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. Those states are going to go active with the smart thermostat program. And in those states, the thermostat program is connect your thermostat and guarantee yourself 5% or more guaranteed savings every single month on autosave. So first you're an autosave customer, then you connect your smart thermostat. Well, why is it that just if we just look at those technologies right there, and then let's look at community solar as well. Community solar, very simple, right? Uh, can commercial accounts do it? In some markets, yes, but in most markets, again, 90% of community solar is residential. That it's designed for the community. It's called community solar. So these solar farms are being built, and they don't want like big companies to go and gobble up all the capacity. No, it's for the whole community. So they have limits on how much can come in on the commercial side, and it's getting smaller and smaller because they want everybody to be able to participate in it. So residential on the community solar side is huge. And so that's a great program, to bring guaranteed savings to a homeowner. Now, if you think about all the things that I just talked about, we talked about the autosave program, the Think Smart program, and we talked about community solar. Those three programs, they all have an element that guarantees someone a discount or savings or a monthly credit on their bill. Think Smart in Texas, guaranteed $10 a month, monthly credit. That's guaranteed. Autosave, guaranteed to never be above the utility, guaranteed to save money when Think Energy is your supplier, and when you connect your smart thermostat in the upcoming autosave markets with thermostats, you have a guarantee of 5% or more savings forever. You're never going back to the utility. You never need to renew. That's all guaranteed. Then you look at community solar. It's guaranteed savings. Sign up for it and you get a guaranteed discount on the credits that they apply to your bill every single month, from 5 to 25, sometimes 30% savings. These are all programs that every one of these professions that is on this screen, they all have homeowners that they work with. They all have client bases that are at a home and they own their homes. Like they have, some of them are live in apartments or condos, but most of them live in a home, and they live in the home that they own. They're owner occupied, right? So all of these categories, let's just look at, take, I don't know, HVAC people for an example. They're like plumbers and heating, ventilating, air conditioning people. Why would an HVAC owner of an HVAC company, once they found out that what the services that we offer that I just talked about, those three, autosave, Think Smart, and community solar, once an HVAC business owner learns about our program and realizes that he or she has the exact client base that matches up with what we're doing, why would they not want to add an additional income stream into their arsenal, into their portfolio? I mean, it makes sense for companies to diversify. They're always looking to diversify. Like, go ask any business owner. If you could find the perfect product that would fit in with exactly what you're doing without interfering with anything that you're doing, and had no chance of going south for you, of having a reputational blowback, right? Would you want to add an income stream if you could find the perfect product that would check all the boxes? Go ask an HVAC company owner that. They'll say yes every time. What do you have? Yeah, what do you have? And that's why we're adding people to our lists right now and reaching out to them, because we have the perfect products and services for any of these companies to add to what they're doing to provide additional value to their client base, to remonetize. Here's a word, to remonetize their client base. All right, and add new streams of income to their portfolio at their company, okay, to their bottom line, to add new streams of income, new revenue streams that are residual revenue streams. Yes, upfront bonuses are great, but residual revenue streams, those are great. Here's another key word when you're talking to business owners, another key term: recurring monthly revenue. Recurring monthly revenue. RMR is the term. Great term for you to use when you're talking to business owners, because most of these, like an electrician, they have no RMR. What is their RMR? They put in they put in an outlet or a light bulb, or they install something and they're done. In order for them to make money, they have to go do it again. Same thing with rooftop solar and HVAC and plumbers and contractors and kitchen companies. Almost all mortgage lenders, tree companies. There's very few professions that are on this list other than insurance agents and financial planners. There are very few, if any, that have any way to make any type of recurring monthly revenue. So when you actually reach out to someone who's an HVAC company and you talk to them and you say, hey, I'm working on a business project. I know you're in the area. Even if you don't the phone, hey, I'd love to talk to the owner of the company. I have a project that I'm working on, and I think it might be able to add a revenue stream to your company. I mean, you guys, that's music to the ears of someone who is in the small business sector right now. Okay. Something that can add a revenue stream to my bottom line without jeopardizing my reputation. What is it? I need to know about that. See, and you'll eventually get to that person. When you ask a small business owner, I have a project that I'm working on that will allow you to add an income stream and remonetize your clients, and create a recurring monthly revenue in RMR without interfering with what you're doing now. Energy perfectly dovetails with all of these professions. They all use energy. All of their clients use energy. We already know 100% of them already use electricity. It's the perfect product. Okay, so when you think about that, about how you can bring this to people, it becomes so vitally important that you build your list of all of these categories. I'm going to throw some secondary categories in here as well. I didn't put these onto a slide or anything, but our secondary list would be our second list is prospects who we think, they interface with a lot of clients, and they have a smaller percentage that are homeowners, but it's still definitely a large percentage of them are homeowners. And that would be anyone who's in the network marketing profession. You guys, our services that we have now are attracting every type of network marketer that is out there. It doesn't matter what industry they're in. If they're selling some kind of widget, or even a lot of service companies, they can dovetail this in perfectly with what they're doing at their current company. And so network marketers, how about restaurant owners or large employers? We have large employers coming on in states because we reached out to them and told them, we talked to them about our services that we offer. We had them take a look at some videos, but we asked them the question, how many employees do you have? This one said, well, we have 4,000. I got on a three-way call with this owner of a company. And I said to them, how many of your employees do you think pay an electric bill? And they laughed. They were like, every one of them. I mean, everybody. I mean, unless they share it, but they're using it or they're paying for it. And I said, that's great. I said, how many of those employees do you think would like to pay less on their electric bill than what they're paying now? And they were like, probably every single one of them. And I said, well, how would you like to be able to lower their electric bill at no cost to them without any reputational blowback on your part? Just by providing a free service doesn't cost anything. It'll lower the cost of their electric bill. And in the process, they'll save money. And guess what? We're going to pay you money upfront and every month for helping them do that. And I said to the owner, I was on with the CFO and the CEO of this company. And I said to the CFO, I said, let me ask you, CFO, I have a question for you, because he's the finance guy, right? And I said to him, how many of your employees, if you gave them the ability to lower the cost of their electric bill, and they did it at no cost, and it was because you told them about it, something they don't know about already. I said, how many of those people that you're providing this service for, how many of those people do you think would like you for it? And he was like, probably all of them. And I said, yeah, the reason that they would like you for it is because you're upping the amount of income that they have in their household budget with all the hard-earned money that they made, the hard work they did to earn that money with your company. And I said to the CFO, it would, if we saved somebody 10 or 20 or 25% on their electric bill for 15, 20 years, it would be like you giving them a raise in a way, wouldn't it? Because they would have more money in their household budget. And it's because of something that you did for them, not something you're doing to your employees, something you're doing for your employees. And the CFO looked over at the owner of the company and said, he's right. Yeah, it would be like we gave them a raise, but we don't have to take any money out of our coffers, out of our profits to do it. And then he instantly got more interested because we're just pointing out the benefits of something. Your employees will like you better because they'll have more money in their pocket because of something you did for them. And it's like you didn't have to take any money out of your, profits to help them have more money in their home. And they both agreed. They're like, yeah, everybody, we should want everybody to do this. And now that's what they're doing. They're moving in the direction of getting everybody aboard in their company. So I've been talking about all these groups, right? And let me go through some other ones. Restaurant owners, large employers, convenience store owners, gas station owners, car mechanics, car dealers, bartenders, barbers, hairstylists, and anyone else who has clients or knows people who might own a home. How about mayors? How about football and basketball coaches? Do you think they know parents who have kids that have homes? And the parents, the high school basketball coach knows the kids, who knows the parents who own the home. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, you name it. Everything that we do, all of these groups would benefit from this. And you can go into all different types of things, like you can then go and make the jump to fundraising and all the other things that we do to help out organizations as well when you're talking about basketball coaches and schools and teams and things like that. So you guys, I haven't even gotten to the next phase of what we're talking about. And that's why I'm going to share my screen and share with you some slides that in an upcoming webinar that we're going to do. And we're going to get this recorded as well. I'm going to share that. We haven't even talked about our home battery program yet, which is taking this industry by storm. I'm just talking, so far, I've only talked about our core services that are already out there right now, which are helping to lead us to people and bring people aboard who can help us expand the Texas battery program that's going to launch in March. All right, so now that we've talked about adding all these groups to our lists, let's talk about some ways that you'll be able to reach out to them. And I'm going to share some slides with you. Let me see if I can stop share on this and go into another share. I just want to give you a little tidbit of what's to come on this. And I'm going to go through this, just quickly to share with you. But this is something that, we've been working on here and kind of, it's been over time, it's kind of evolved as we're going. But now that we have the Texas Home Battery Program coming and we're 80 days out from launch, it's definitely time to start really thinking about, okay, where is this, how can I get into the state of Texas? And then it's going to expand further outside of there. We know that it's right in the video. All right. So, anytime you're building your funnel and your pipeline with all the groups that I just talked about, they all have homeowners as their core client base. Well, the battery program that's upcoming in Texas and will expand to other states, it's perfect. It only works with homeowners. You have to be a homeowner to be able to get a battery, and you have to be a Think Plus customer to then be in the running to get our battery program. So this is a slide, I'm going to show you some slides, a quick sneak peek at what we have upcoming with our community fundraising program. This is designed for organizations and teams, for faith groups, for towns and schools, for nonprofits and causes, and I would say half of this presentation, half of the community fundraising program is designed to create revenue streams for businesses. Okay, so if I added up organizations, faith groups, towns, schools, and nonprofits, that would be less than half of the last one, which is a revenue stream for businesses. That's the biggest chunk of what you have here, because there's more businesses, small businesses, than all of those things combined. All right. So the other one's combined. So you have to put a big asterisk on revenue stream for businesses. And this is the point. We're holding a fundraiser or we're generating revenue streams, but we're not for businesses, but we're not asking for any money and we're not selling anything. Think about that. We're holding a fundraiser or we're generating revenue, but we're not asking for money and we're not selling anything. This is a very powerful statement. You know, when we talk about our core values, that's in the slideshow. We talk about our service map. Everybody's seen this. That's in the slideshow. And then we talk about raising funds or creating new revenue streams with autosave and where it's available. And then the autosave video that goes along with it. That's what starts playing right there. I'm going to skip past that. Then we show the benefits of autosave with all the guarantees, including the newest guarantee at the bottom. Guaranteed minimum 5% savings with a connected smart thermostat. Very nice to be able to add that in here now, available in these states because we're ready to launch this now. We've already started the beta trial and we're going to launch this in the next week. How about raising funds and creating new revenue streams with Think Community Solar? That makes us, and then here's the community solar video and how it works. I'm not going to go into the details on that. And then why aren't you on a solar farm? Our standard slides, because you didn't know you could be. It's making it a no-brainer. But we're starting with raising funds and generating a new revenue stream. Raising funds for your organization, generating a new revenue stream for your business. We're talking about both at the same time so that we're capturing everyone. And here's our community solar coverage map. Great. And then focused on you, your members, and your clients. See, we're adding value at every step, right? We're teaching, we're focused on you. We can help you at your company and you at your home. We're also focused on your members, your employees, your group, the people who your clients, your client base, all of them. We have a program, Think Smart. Here's how it works, and here's a video, and it goes through that, and it talks about adding value again at every step. And at the bottom, it shows $10 a month in bill credits in Texas and guaranteed savings in those states for connecting a smart thermostat. And then finally, how about creating new revenue streams and raising funds with a Texas home battery program that's coming March 1st in 2026 and more markets to follow. And going into that program and showing them this video, which is just incredibly powerful, and then utilizing the graphics, the imagery that we have with our partner EcoFlow and why it's the best invention and all that good stuff and who and how mainstream this is. And then our simple value proposition. And telling them, if you look at this system that you have right here, this system costs $20,000 to $30,000. And we're going to be bringing it through a simple and compelling customer value proposition, not for $30,000, not for $20,000, not for $10,000, not for 75% off, not for 80% off, not for 90% off. No, we're going to bring it to our client base. You're going to bring it to your client base, pastor at the church, business owner in all the categories we talked about, person who owns a company that has lots of employees, who a lot of them own homes. We're going to bring this to your community at 100% off of retail. like if it costs 30,000, it's zero. If it costs 20,000, it's zero. Somebody asked me the other day, well, what if I get a battery system and they have to put one on my house because I have a really big house? And I said, it's still zero. You're going to get a great rate on your electricity. That's the first thing that Michael Falquist has said. You will get a rate because you have a battery on your home that no one who doesn't, all the people who don't have a battery on their home, they're not going to get this rate. You will get free backup power for your home. If the power goes out, you won't even know. Your neighbors will have to tell you. You won't even know that the power goes out because it stays on. The battery is automatically on at all times, ready to go in case of a power outage. And then no cost. Michael Falquist hammered this in. How much does it cost? Nothing. How much does it cost to install? Nothing. What's the overall cost? Zero. Guys, this is the most simple and compelling customer value proposition that we have. And then think local. Of course, we put this in here, especially with businesses and organizations and communities talking about how we're giving back, not just on top of all these great services, but we have a program to give back, and we have a great video that in 1 minute that shows it. And then what makes our fundraising plan or our revenue generating program unique? And it's simple. We earn funds on every customer enrolled. We have monthly residuals paid on every time customers pay their electric bills. There's bonuses for hitting milestones, and we earn funds on all the customers through the revenue sharing pool. It's very simple. And then we have a slide that shows you, here's what it is. Here's what you get when customers enroll, and here's what you get when customers pay their electricity bills. And then we do an analysis where there's milestones that you can hit for reaching points. Every time a customer comes in, there's points. And when you hit the milestones, you get bonuses up to $86,000 in milestone bonuses. See, and when you think about what we have here, here's the slide that shows when your community benefits. This is the autosave and smart thermostat example. When your community benefits, your organization earns. And here's what it is. You bring in 100 customers. Here's the total savings over 20 years on average for 5% savings on a $100 monthly supply bill. And here's what you earn, and here's your monthly residual or monthly recurring monthly revenue, RMR. Look at these numbers. I mean, you're talking about millions of dollars of savings when you get up into the thousands of customers. And then think local impact. And then there's another slide with the community solar example. It's even higher because the savings are even higher. And there's the upfront bonuses and the monthly residuals. Clear as day, when your community benefits, your organization earns, your company earns. Very powerful. And then the home battery example. Guess what? We can't even give an example yet because we don't know what the compensation is. But we know that you will be earning and have huge long-term savings for your customers, benefits for the customers, and then your organization or your company is going to benefit with huge long-term funding and revenue opportunities. Plain and simple. We know it's coming. They can even participate when you reach those milestones, you earn shares and earn on all the customers that are there. And then simple as anything, sign up as an energy advisor so you can generate funding, so you can create a new business revenue stream. And here's our simple slide that shows what you get. You know, we've seen this before. Just tweaking it so that it has the right wording, to help businesses understand. And then, hey, guess what? We have an app that'll allow you to share and track information if that's what you want to do. We have world-class videos so you can educate everybody with using videos. Not you, not your company, not your employees, not the people who work for you. You're going to use videos. You're going to use technology. You're going to use our marketing center. We already have the flyers. It's all there for you to just add a new revenue stream to your business, to add a new fund generating mechanism to your business with customized content to accelerate these things, and where we are and where we're going. And you tell them, and nobody else is doing anything like this, right? It's the perfect product. You can generate funds with recurring monthly revenue. Who wouldn't want all of these things? And then it's just, here's the call to action. You guys, this is going to be a 15-minute presentation, probably. And once we get it recorded, you'll have it and you can send it out to any of those categories: businesses, groups, schools, teams, fundraising organizations, nonprofits, charities, causes, teams, anything. We're creating all of these great benefits for our communities, and it's mainly for our businesses and for the community causes that are in those communities. That's what this is all about. So you guys, that's enough. I've shared a lot of information here. I know I've gone through a lot of info. The slides are being worked on and tweaked and things like that, but it's just a rough draft, but it's going to look pretty much, it looks like what you've seen all along.